Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So in today's session let's discuss about SQL. Okay, so we do have a lot of databases, right? So we have databases like RDBMS. So okay, a relation database management system. In our real-time project, most of the pros source system on premises like OLTP system, the transactional data. So whatever the front end tools they are connecting, most of the applications is running on RDBMS only. In real time project you might be having Oracle database. It will be like 21C any version from Oracle Corporation. So then we will be having MS SQL Server. So SQL Server from Microsoft. So the companies using Microsoft project then will be using SQL Server database, or we might be using Netezza. We might be using IBM DB2. So different some open sources databases like MySQL. So we might be using different databases, Teradata, different databases we might be using. So for even ETL developer, so for ETL developers, so like a cloud ETL developer, like, or any data analyst. So if you go and check into the in the chart, in the survey and everything, the ETL wise Informatica is the leading company. So most of the banking, insurance and healthcare and telecom industries, they are using this Informatica Power Center only, and IIC is only for ETL related project. So if you are going for any ETL developer or data analyst roles or business analyst role, so always any role, definitely this SQL is more analyst, data analyst role, and we'll be having role, business analyst role. So any role, data engineer. So any role with SQL related project, definitely this SQL is very mm, important. Even this RDBMS, we are going for the cloud. For example, in the cloud side, okay. So if you are going for any cloud, for example, in the cloud side, we are working on the cloud. IICS is definitely having the cloud on our data warehouse environment, data lake environment. So if we take cloud, AWS, yes, we will be using the Redshift. So Redshift is one of the data warehouse environment or data lake environment. Yes, for this I need a SQL? Yes, I need to know the SQL very familiar. So if you take the GCP, so yes, we are using the BigQuery. So in the data warehouse and data lake. Okay, it's a Google platform. It's a Google Cloud platform, and even AWS Yes, we are using. So here we are using. Okay, in GCP Azure we are using all this, right? Even we are, if we are going for NoSQL DB, like the data, the column, like data storage, like so different areas we are storing. Even NoSQL DB also, it's not only SQL also, but still we are using some SQL concept over there. So if you know this SQL concept very clearly, so working with other cloud technologies, even if we are going for the here here I am going with the Snowflake SQL. So most 95 percentage Snowflake SQL is, so 95 percentage it is related to Oracle SQL only. So if you know Oracle SQL very well, the Snowflake SQL is very easy. So if you are going to the real-time projects, so if you are going to work on any cloud platforms, so like AWS, GCP, Azure or anything, so definitely we will use the data lake environment. So if you want to query the data lake environment, then we will using the Redshift, BigQuery or any data lake environment. All the SQLs are will be implemented. So not exactly with Oracle SQL, so little bit it will be changed, but similar. So if you concentrate on a one SQL very clearly, so then working with any other SQL is very easy. Okay, so that's why I recommend you to go for complete SQL. So learn complete SQL, complex SQL, and working with joins. So mostly if you are going for the, even I'm going for any interviews, so even for now or any client interviews for data warehousing project, the client very first they will test us on only on the SQL very first. So then only we will go for the, okay, how strong you are in SQL, so can you rate yourself from the SQL. So then only we'll go for the data warehousing concept and data lake concept and ETL concept, how strong you are in Informatica, Power Center and ISS, all this. So that's why if SQL is very important. As I told, even I went on Redshift, BigQuery, everything, but I haven't learned separately for this SQL. Okay, so whatever we have learnt here on Oracle SQL Server, Netezza, worked on Teradata, MySQL, all these are similar. Even Oracle and DB2, 99% are similar. Okay, so all these are similar, and definitely go for any one SQL complete. Okay, so that's why I'm taking SQL sessions one more time. Okay, so here in Oracle database, if we take the database, we are going to split up into real-time project. This is the database, assume this is a database. So it will be having like a server will be running on the cluster. Yeah, 21C is nothing but a cloud-based database, right? So it's a cloud-based database computing all this. Previously we have G is nothing but replaced computer, and in, yeah, that's what we used to hear. So if you see this database we are going to split up into multiple schemas. Okay, so database in multiple schema in Oracle. So if you take here in the SQL Server or Teradata or Netezza, or any databases, even in Snowflake also, the entire server we are going to split up into different databases. Okay, the databases, one database we are going to split up into the multiple databases, right? So Teradata, yes, Teradata, yes, here we are split up. The subset is called as 1 dB. Okay, the subset of this database will split up. Okay, so we will split as the as per the logical. So this is 1 dB, this is another dB, this is other dB. We will split the object as per the logical division. Okay, so in this particular schema, so based on your user roles and the access and privileges, you can able to have read and write access. Okay, execute access permissions. The permissions access privileges will be taken care by DBS, database administrators. But if you take the Oracle databases here, so 21c anything, we do have schemas, right, in our is in this particular 21c or 11gr, it's like a user schema. This is one user schema, this is one user schema, this is another user schema. So this schema will call it as a system user. This is a system user. Okay, this is system, and this user is a HR user. Okay, and you can create a number of users here. So these users are split. We can have the separate logical machines. It's like a logical division. Each and every schema will have the separate objects. The object in the sense will be having tables, tables will be having views, will be having the sequences and synonyms and index. So this way we'll be having different object for each and every schema. We'll have different objects. Okay, so this particular schema we will have different particular object. Okay, so if you have access to this particular to this access schema, if I have access to the HR schema, I can able to access only this schema only. So we cannot access other schemas, even we cannot view other table schemas also. And here the same way we have access to one database, the other database we cannot have access. So remember this, we'll call it as this is database 1, this is database 2, this is database 3. So some different name we will call it as. And who will control all this is the system will control. The system user we can control it. Okay, so we are going to have this user as HR. Okay, and password is HR. Okay, okay, username and password. So here also we are going to have the core and core. So and what we are going to do here for Informatica and IS is here. So we will keep this source and this as target. Okay, okay. So Oracle as source and Snowflake as target, or if you have any other databases from this list can be used. Okay, so different databases from the different vendors like Oracle, Microsoft, Netezza, IBM, DB2, MySQL, and Teradata Corporation. We do have Teradata. We can have different databases in the market. Most of the banking, so from IBM, DB2, MySQL is open source, and Teradata Corporation, we do have Teradata. We can have different databases in the market. Okay, most of the banking and everything you are using these databases only. So if you are having any one database SQL queries very well, working with other database is very easy. Okay, so Netezza also is similar to Oracle SQL only. Okay, only 1% is different from one to one database. So here if you take any other databases, for example Teradata, okay, or we can have the MS SQL server. Okay, in order to interact with these databases we are going to use this language called SQL. So SQL is the language. Sometimes we are going for any interviews, sometimes we'll ask this the question to the candidates. So what is the databases we are working in your project? We will say SQL. Okay, SQL databases. So SQL is the language. Okay, I'm not sure whether they are referring to this SQL Server database, Microsoft SQL Server. They will simply say like SQL, and then if you ask what is database you are working on the real time, whether it is Oracle or SQL Server something, then they will say like SQL Server database. So remember, SQL is the language and these are all the databases. So if I want to interact with these databases, we need to know the language called SQL. But this SQL is little bit differ from each and every databases. But 80% of the queries are similar. Okay. For an example, in real time we are using Netezza database. In this database, if I want to query this, I have to use some tool. From the application, okay, to connect with. So DB Visualizer is one of the visualizer. From one front end, we can connect with the DB Visualizer. Through DB Visualizer, we can connect. Even this particular Redshift also we can connect. But GCP and all direct we can use. Some directly we can go to the site and then we can use, or we will be having a notebook. And here other applications are there, like a different GUIs are there. So we can use in only one GUI. For example, we can use DB Visualizer or a SQL Developer or Toad for Oracle. So right, different front-end tools we can use it. So different front-end tools we can use it. So, okay, we can use SQL Developer to connect with this HR database. So we can use DB Visualizer to connect with HR. Okay, we can use Toad for Oracle. So these are all the GUI. Front-end tool, it might be any tool. Okay, it might be a SQL Developer, Okay, it might be a SQL developer, it might be a DB visualizer, it might be Toad for Oracle, or any other tool. We can use any other tool. Sometimes we'll directly we can connect to the servers. From the servers we'll go to the SQL plus, and from SQL plus we'll connect with the queries and then execute the queries, right? So we can use GUI ports. So these are all graphical user interface. Okay, from the front end tool, so from the front end tool we need to connect with the server. I need to connect with the netizen. I need to connect with the netizen means our team members. I need to get that netizen details, server details, database details, and everything. And I have to connect from the DB visualizer on the area tool. So just I will connect it and I will use it. And in the same way, I can connect with Oracle database, any other database I can work. In the same thing we are going to follow here. So just I have one schema here. So this schema only I am using as a source as well as target. So for the source I am representing the table name as yes, and for the target I am representing the table name as T. Okay. In the real-time project we may have the different schemas. So as I mentioned here, here we can have the HR schema or score schema like this. HR can be used as a source and the core can be used as a target. So but here in this case I am using only one schema. This is only used as a source as well as target, but for the source I am using the s underscore, but for the target I am using t underscore. Why? Because in the real-time projects we can identify the source table and target table as like as a s underscore as target table t underscore. Same like this. For the practice purpose I am using only one schema. Okay guys. Okay guys. So if you ask me who will create the schema in real-time project, normally DBS will create a schema. Okay, DBS will create a schema. For an example, in my project I want one new schema to be created. So for the new application, for the new project, so then I have to take approval from my client and I have to submit the request, and they will create the schema for us. All right, or whatever the schema are already available, so from that schema will be used as a data and we will process it. So this system owner, system user will be handled by the DBS. The DBS will handle up. Okay, so they will handle all other users performance servers, right? All this they will handle it. So here we are having username is system and password is admin. So we are going to, that's a username and password is admin. Okay, if you ask me can I create the another schema here, yes, we can create by using the system schema. So don't forget about this system user. So connect with the system admin. If any user got locked, for an example this code schema got locked, so we can use this alter user HR identified by HR account and log. Okay, so in real time project we don't have access to this one. So if you want this query, so this query can be used for unlocking. Okay, it's showing us this schema will be altered. So whether we don't whether we can alter the schemas in the real-time project means no, only DBS can and have the access. Okay, yeah, okay. And the lot of different versions are there. The latest version is 23C. So recently they have introduced 23C. It's like a cloud computing. C means cloud computing. It's computing. Okay, all this cloud computing, all this. Okay, different versions are there. So if 23C is available in Express Edition, all the versions are available. So, okay, so you can have any other YouTube videos to how to install the Oracle database in your system. Okay, okay. So here, so for any tables, how the tables can be related in each other in the real-time projects. So why do we learn all this SQL concept of all this means? So this is a setup. I will attach in the description. Okay, if we are going to work in real-time projects, all are like a tables, right? Okay, here I have one table, here I have one table, here I have one table. All the tables are related to each other. So here we are having the dimension and fact tables. So I believe that some of you already knows what is the dimension and what is the fact table. This is the one we are going to keep some dimension table, some fact table. We have all the tables. See, the tables are interconnected with each other. Like we'll connect it and we'll get the keys from the dimension table and we will load it. And this dimension modeling I will take later. But these joins are very important. So it's like a 7 tables, but in this real-time project it might be like a even 20 tables, 30 tables, more than that also. Okay, all are like interconnected. with some uncommon column. It will be interconnected with each other. So the key values from, we cannot keep all the data in single table, right? We cannot keep all the data in single table, right? So for that, to avoid the data redundancy means repeatness, copy. To avoid the data repeatness, we will split the data into multiple tables and keep it here based on the data model, and based on the business we will keep the data in different ways, and we will capture it all the in the front end applications, and from here we will load it into the data warehouse for different reportings. So for an example, as an ETL developer, we are going to load into data into the target table. Okay, on top of the table, so some hundreds of business rules are running. It is created lot of reports, okay, for the business team. So always we are working with the business team for their business related reports. Okay, for us it's a data warehousing report. We always create the reporting. So in order to work with these tables, joins and everything, we should know the structure, the tables and everything. So that's why the tables and joins are very important. So always in real time project, on top of the tables they will create the views. Okay, so each and every table, for the security reason, they will not give access to this particular table. They will create the view on top of the tables. Okay, this concept I will take in the last session if possible, what is views and everything. This views template is useful in our data warehousing concept as well. So most of the reporting will be taken from the views only. Okay, the downstream applications are consuming the data from the views only. So that's what we are taking. So this is called data model. We'll create the data model while taking the data warehousing concept. I will explain the this data modeling concept. Okay, so in order to work with this data real-time projects, we need to understand these data types. Okay, in order to, so I want to load my customers data in real-time project. If I'm going with I want to load some any applications, I want to start it. I want to start any applications. I want to go for some grocery. Okay, selling companies, any applications, some application I want to build. Okay, based on that I need to start the startup company. Then I have to first I will need to build the databases, applications, front end and everything, right? So I want to keep my customers data. Yes, I'll keep customers data. So I do have a lot of projects, so I will keep all my project in the product table, and I will keep all my orders details in the order table, and sales data in the sales table, user information in the users table. So different tables are there: user table, customer table, merchant information table, supplier table. Lot of details will be there. Okay, so merchant details, right? Like this we will have even thousands of tables. Okay, so thousands of tables. We will have customer table, product table, order table, sales table, different types of tables. We do have dimension fact table, that is different in the data modeling. I will tell you after some time. But these tables are uh, transaction tables. It's a very big table. We'll always have in the real time tables. Okay, so all this table we are going to state the data. So very first we need to check the data types. So what is the data type? For each and every column we are going to keep it, right? So data types are very important, and the precision and the scale. Precision and scale, that's very important. Scale is nothing but the decimal value. The precision is the whole numbers. Data types, so these are all the very important: data types, precision and scale. So what is the data here we are going to keep? So, and if you are ask me which is better, whether I want to go for views or we need to go for materialized views, so both are different purpose. Okay, it's based on the purpose, based on the requirement. Either we have to go for normal views, or we have to go for materialized views, or we have to go for inline views. That is different. Okay, materialized views are normally are created for or offline reporting. Okay, whenever I need to run a report in remote server, I want to materialize the views, means physical copy of the views I need to create for the better performance. Then I will go for the materialized view. So that's a different concept. Okay, now we'll take the views. I will explain all. I will give the video, so just go through that. So first we need to take the data types. Data types are very important. So for different data types are there in our Oracle database. So mostly like the numeric data type we are going to use is number data type. Okay, remember, number data type. And for any character data type, we are going to use varchar2. So this is all about Oracle database. Okay, varchar2, and we are going to have the next data type is date. For data type called as date. So that's it. If we take number data type, we can have number. We have different ways. Number, it can hold up to 10 digits. Okay, so 99999. So 10 digits it can hold it. Okay, 1 6. Okay, 10 digits we can keep it like this. So we can keep it up to this number. So we can have in the same way decimal numbers. I need to keep it like we can go it 10 comma 2. Normally we'll go for 10 comma 2. So what is 10 comma 2? So totally 10 digits. 2. Normally we'll go for 10 comma 2. So what is 10 comma 2, right? So 10 comma 2 means totally 10 digits. Out of that, 2 digits are decimal. So 8 digits will have whole number, and 2 digits is the scale. So here we have this way. Okay, and varchar2, yes, varchar2 it will occupy 4000 characters. Even we can going to make varchar oracle in term, it will make it as varchar2. Okay, even if you are going to make any database like data types as varchar, the varchar is the proficient in the oracle. If you are going to have any data types like varchar, it will rename with varchar2. You can go for 4000 bytes. and date. Yes, we can have the date, and we can have the date and timestamp. Then these are keeping this date data type. Yes, we can have this mm, date data type. I will tell you how to, while inserting the data, we have to define the format. Okay, while inserting the data, whether the format is a DDM1 YY, so what is the different formats are there, we need to keep it. So I do not want to go in depth on this particular data types and all, so definitely we will use it, that time we will get it all this. Okay, so if you ask me how the SQLs are created, so how the SQLs are created, classified in Oracle. So the SQLs are classified into 5 different language in Oracle. Okay, 5 different languages. So sometimes the select statement will DML. So 5 different language. This is the 5 different languages in Oracle. It's a data definition language. Okay, the first one is SQL is classified into data definition language. See, data definition is, I want to create a table. I want to create a table here. Okay, so for 10 columns or 20 columns or 30 columns or for whatever it may be, for my project I need to create a table. So I am going to create the structure, right? Okay, okay, like for the column, like customer ID, custom name, like mobile number and a email ID and the city, yeah, and date of birth and country. So like this we'll get all the details. If it is a product table, if it is a product information, if it is a order table, order information. So we can get the data from my customers. Okay, so these details I can get from my customers, but this one I have to generate. Okay, normally customer ID we have to generate it. Okay, it's a auto generated number, we will generate it in the normally in the project, we will not get this information always. Okay, for key column we will not get information from the user, so other information will get it from the user. So okay, some details will get it generated for each and every customer. We are going to start with 8 digit or 20 digit 8 digit ID or 10 digit ID or 6 digit ID, whatever it may be. It may be a sequence of number. Okay, from the 1000 if we start means for each and every customer we'll have a different sequence of numbers. Okay, okay, so this will be automatically generated by sequence generator. Okay, it will be generated by using the sequence generator. Each and every record we are going to insert, that this will be generated automatically by using the sequence generator, but other details will get it. So for an example, this one I need to go for customer name. So I need to go for customer name. Yes, yes, I can keep it from customer name. Mobile number, yes, I can keep it only one mobile number. Okay, email ID, so these details I can get it from the customer. Okay, I have to from the front end tool, this will get inserted. right? From the front end tool they will be doing it. So I'm going to have so this data. So by seeing this I can see, I can identify this. Okay, this is particular date and form time like this. Okay, it will be so. Okay, you can understand, I think you understand this data of birth structure, right? MMDDYYY. Okay, so this way we load the data. If so, if I want to load all this data into my database, so I need to first create the table, right? The structure I have to create. Okay, so if I want to create a structure, I want to do anything related to the structure. So this particular language called as DDL, data definition language. Okay, it always deal with structure of the table. So that means we are creating the table. Okay, so today I'm creating with 6 column. So after that I want to add some country information as well. S- I want to add marital status also. So or also I want to add any gender. So keep on they will be adding. So based on the requirement from the front end tool up to the reports, we'll be keep on adding the columns. So whenever we are adding the columns, so the columns will be added at the end of the table. So it will not add in between the table, so it will only add in end of the table. So if you want to add in between the columns, so we have to rebuild this particular table. So we have to create the backup and rename this table. We can create another table, so load the data so into that backup table. That's what we will do it normally. So but if we add any column, it will be added into the end of the column. So I'm going to add any column, or I'm going to drop any column. So I'm thinking this particular column I not required, so I'm going to drop the column. So can I do the alter, so rename. So I have given this column as mobile, so it's not meaningful, so I need to renaming it. Yes, I can rename mobile underscore number. Yes, we can rename the table name as well. Okay, and okay, and truncate whatever I have did, it is whatever the data is there, and I did truncate. Okay, this irrespective of number of records, I'm going to truncate all the data. Okay, all the data. So that means we can call this truncate. So truncate we cannot use where class. So if I have all the cities related informations, only this particular city customer I have to delete it. Can I do it? No. So truncate will delete all the record. Okay, and this option, this truncate will be there in the Oracle database. Okay, so drop means entirely we are dropping the table. Okay, so drop means okay, this entire table will be dropped like this. Okay, for example, I'm rolling back. All the data has been rolled back, so restored into the same data like this. Okay, whether this can be achieved by using this truncate? No, we cannot do it. Okay, in Oracle database, the DDL statements, if you execute any DDL statements up to that particular point, it will be auto committed. So commit means it will be saved. Okay, in terms of like a Word document, I need to say it like a save, but in database if I want to save, it's a commit. So commit means up to that particular point, whatever the transactions we have executed here, it will get committed. So if we take Teradata or SQL Server or any other databases, there is no concept of rollback or truncate. There is no concept of rollback or commit. So always SQL Server or Teradata, it will get committed. It will automate. Okay, but in Oracle, only the DDL statements are auto statement. DML statements we have to commit it. Unless otherwise we are going to commit, it will not be stored permanently. Okay, so I will tell you this very clearly, so that this is what very important one we have to learn. Most of them will do mistake here. Commit, rollback, save point, grant and revoke, all this. All right, data manipulation. Data manipulation means all all related to data, not the structure. So I'm going to delete the data. Yes, it's going to delete. Yes, I want not to, I want to do the rollback. Yes, I can do the rollback. So but truncate, once truncated we cannot do the rollback, but once drop means we cannot do rollback. Why? Because it's a auto commit. Okay, but here we are inserting, after committing the data, we are inserting the one record here. So this is called insert statement. Okay, insert, update, delete. So in this particular sessions, today I am in this particular city, and tomorrow I need to move to the other city, and that is called updating. I am thinking that these details, these data I do not want, so I am thinking to delete. See, in delete operation we can delete particular data. Okay, some partial data we can delete it. So it's thinking in data, if I am wrongly deleted, yes, we can do undo, means rollback. So undo is nothing but rollback, save is nothing but commit. And if you want to put any bookmark, it's based on the bookmark, we have to do the commit and rollback. Then this is called save point. Okay, so these are all about the more about the Oracle concept, but I do not want to go in depth of Oracle. But here grant and revoke will not do in the real-time project, only the DBS will do. But here I have shown the DCL commands, that is a grant and revoke. Okay, so okay, so as of now, okay, for today's session let's close up to here, and from tomorrow's session, and let's see what is DDL, DML and DRL in depth by executing the commands into the Oracle or SQL server, SQL developer. Okay, thank you. Please do subscribe and like a video. If you have any doubt, please do comment on this below video. Okay, thank you guys. Have a nice day.